Hello, and welcome to Love, Light, and Healing with Colette Lopane Capella. I am Colette Lopane Capella, a licensed mental health counselor, Reiki practitioner, EMDR therapist, and healer. I am founder and director of New Day Vitality, located in Larchmont, New York, where we provide a holistic alternative approach to psychotherapy and counseling. We offer individual, couples, group, family therapy, as well as Reiki energy healing and EMDR therapy. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to bring this show to the public and the beautiful community of Larchmont and Mamaroneck. A little bit about me: I'm a wife, a fur mommy, an entrepreneur, and a true healer at heart. I've been practicing for many years and have had the profound honor of being a part of so many beautiful journeys to wellness and helping individuals live and be the best versions of themselves, mind, body, and spirit. This show is to bring together the mind, body, and spirit through love and light, wellness, and healing. This show will be informative, helpful, and fun. So sit back, relax, and enjoy all the beauty this show will offer you. Each episode, we will bring on an expert guest to discuss important different topics that bridge the mind, body, and spirit, and the beauty of when it's all tied in together. Experts will vary from energy healers, teachers, nurses, crystal healers, psychiatrists, doctors, therapists, psychologists, psychics, mediums, yogis, and all healers or light workers, as I like to call us. On today's episode, we have the honor of having one of my dear friends, Brianna Smith. And so welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode. I'm excited and honored, and I'm so happy to have this opportunity and bring this to the viewers.
Thank you for having me.
So welcome, of course. So we're going to jump right in because I know you got this and you're good. So let's just tell the audience a little bit about who you are.
Yeah.
Just a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I am Brianna Smith, founder of Beauty by Brianna. So, thank you. My goal is to help women find the balance between inner beauty and outer beauty. I started off as a makeup artist over 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I have.
That's why you have such beautiful makeup.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I did do my own makeup today.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So I've spent a lot of time with women in these very intimate, vulnerable spaces. Think about it. When you go sit in your hairdresser's chair, aren't you like, let me tell you everything?
Yes.
I started to realize that I was with these women during these really challenging moments of their lives, women who have lost their hair to chemo, women who are transitioning from a male body into the one that they feel they're aligned with. And so it's in those kinds of moments I found that really inner beauty is the pathway to outer beauty.
Of course.
And so I can balance the two together and help people feel the way they want to and help people look the way they want to.
So beautiful. That's really powerful and profound.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that's really amazing work that you get to do.
Thank you.
People.
It
It's
is.
amazing.
It is. I've found that I do a lot of things besides makeup these days. I started doing makeup, and I'm very passionate about art. But I've also discovered that the road to yourself is paved with yoga and meditation. And I am a shamanic Reiki master practitioner. And so it's digging into those shadowy places of your soul, the places that you don't always look at to get to the work.
So awesome.
Thank you.
So it's like this inner beauty is literally like aligning with this outer beauty, and you're being able to have this experience with these women. That's really profound.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I'm very fortunate.
Oh, so awesome. In general, so what do people see you for? I want you to share a little bit more how your two careers and these paths have just beautifully aligned for you with the audience.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your story, about how you came from being a makeup artist and then now being a shamanic Reiki practitioner, and how you've really blended the two. We've shared a little bit, but how did that path even open up? Right? It's like, wait, that's interesting. It's beautiful. It's amazing to know that the two have aligned, but how did that even begin for you?
My beauty journey
Ah.
It was my own journey, and everyone around me simultaneously. It all just kind of unfolded. I was chosen for this. I really, truly believe that that was the path for me. So I worked in these very high-profile environments. I worked managing cosmetic businesses in Manhattan and the tri-state area. I've worked for some of the biggest brands, biggest celebrities out there, and I was miserable. Oh, it was awful.
So something wasn't aligning for you,
No,
obviously.
I did well professionally. I was flourishing in that environment, but I was miserable. I would spend all day working, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh goodness. It's like 6 o'clock and I need to eat something. And I would eat like 3 slices of pizza. And then I would go into this terrible spiral of that pattern of just being like, all right, I'm gonna work all day long and then I'm just gonna eat terrible food and I'm not gonna exercise. I'm not gonna spend time in nature, which is where I'm happiest.
Oh, wow.
And so that lifestyle did not align with my purpose, but I needed to do that in order to get here.
Yes.
And so it was in that lifestyle of realizing that I'm not doing anything that makes me happy. I'm working to serve everyone around me, but not in a way that aligns with me. Now I serve everyone around me in a way that aligns with my highest purpose. And so it was in that path of really looking at myself and looking at the things about myself I wasn't happy with. I wasn't happy with eating 3 slices of pizza a day, you know, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And I wasn't happy in going all day and drinking coffee several times a day, and not drinking any water. Yeah, that lifestyle is just awful. You don't stop and you don't feel anything. You don't feel the magic that this world has to offer.
Sure.
And so that entire thing just kind of swallowed me up and I was like, no, this isn't right for me.
Something has to change.
Something has to change. So I started feeling dis-ease, not disease, but dis-ease, discomfort within my body. I was unhappy with the way I was looking because I was eating garbage trash food all the time. And I was unhappy with just everything around me. I just didn't feel like anything was going the right way and my hormones were out of balance and I was depressed and anxious and it was awful. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Isn't that always like that, right? I always tell people, like when I think of a mountain, right? It's like we always start at a pretty low space to work our way to the top, but that was your moment of clarity.
It was. I walked into my naturopath's office and I was like, I got all these things wrong with me. Let's work on them. So we worked on my physical body to the point where that was really good. And then he was like, I think we need to work on your energetic body. I think you need to go see a shamanic Reiki healer.
Wow.
And
that's where the journey began.
Yeah, well, yes and no.
Not that simple, Colette.
Not that simple. That's when the professional journey began. My journey began when I was a child. I mean, I can very specifically pinpoint the exact moment where I had my first shamanic experience. And it has literally guided me every step of the way. I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't understand that there was some universal force guiding me.
Yeah, something bigger was happening that whole time.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's amazing.
But first session in my now mentor and colleague, because we work in the same space, the Center for Health and Healing in Mount Kisco, the second I walked into her office, she was like, "You're an old soul." And I was like, I am?
I like that.
I do. Now that I mean, at that point, I was not in my power. Now that I'm in my power and I understand, like, yeah, I'm an old soul.
Oh, you are.
I am. And the work that we did in that very first session, I hit the ground running. And that's kind of just how I am. I hit the ground running with everything. And so it was history.
And it all opened up and it aligned for you.
It did all
That's
open up
amazing.
and it aligned for me.
I always think of each woman as like their own individual goddess. And as you're like saying this, I feel like we all have it, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the goddess in you was almost like awakened.
Oh, yes.
And now like the beauty that you can share, you know, like, even like on these beautiful, amazing days, like someone's wedding or their shower, right? It's like you're awakening the goddess within, but you're aligning it. So it's not just right? The outer appearance, you're pulling more out of that while you're doing it.
Oh, yes.
I can imagine you're probably like, I'm going to put my hands on you to do your makeup, but I'm really healing. We're working on something bigger here.
Only with permission.
Only with
Only permission. But I do help women in those moments. Think about, like, you're married. Think about what you were like as you were getting ready to walk down the aisle, and what it would have been like to take that, like, namaste, yoga vibes right off your yoga mat, right into your makeup practice. You know?
That's so huge. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, okay, about the difference. Well, I'm also a Reiki practitioner, but shamanic Reiki, I found really interesting when you shared that with me, sort of some of the components, especially when it comes to the animals. But tell me the difference between, like, the Japanese energy healing and shamanic energy healing. Like, what's the difference between the two there? Or, like, the way you shared it with me, because I'm a fur mommy and lover, really kind of made me say, maybe I gotta go down that road a little bit now. But what's the difference between the two, or the major conceptual differences?
So I practice both Usui Reiki as well as shamanic Reiki. And so I tell my clients that if they're looking to just kind of lay down and bliss out on a table, and they just want that energy to be cleared or chakras balanced, that's Usui. That's the way to go. Shamanic Reiki, we use the same kinds of symbols. It's the same symbols. It's an attunement process in a very similar way. But I find that it goes so much deeper because you have a real active participation in your own healing process. And shamanism is a core belief that everything is connected. And so it's believing in nature and how nature really can heal, and trusting that.
Nature. So, that's another big part of it.
Yes, huge
so
part.
Nature and the animals too is not like the Japanese energy healing art. It's a little different.
Very different. Yes. So if I'm moving energy in somebody's physical body, energetic body, I might take something from the earth. It might just be like a stone.
Wow.
Or it could be a flower, it could be a plant, and place that on top so that they are being infused with healing medicinal properties from those plants.
Wow.
And so it's believing in, your spirit guides, your animal totem.
That's really cool.
It is. It's a very powerful thing
Is there 3 spirit guides too?
So you can have multiple guides in your path, in your journey. And I'm not going to put a number on it and limit it in any specific way. If you get 10 different spirit animals that come to you, it might be the same energy manifesting and shape-shifting into a different form, or it could be very different energies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love too how when we talk about this, like, because we've met together and we've talked about this stuff for, like, we're like, we'll meet for a half hour, an hour. We've met for like 4.5 hours, 5 hours. But I love when you talk about it, it's almost like there's no set regiment or like baseline, like this is the way you need to practice. You're more like, it's kind of what works for you. So like, that's why I love when you introduce this to me, like, is there 3 spirit guides? No, Colette, you could have 10, you could have 20, you could have 100 throughout your lifetime. It's really part of your journey, and it's connected still, but it's connected in your space. And so it's like, I love the way you talk about it.
Thank you.
I also love how you also teach yoga.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I've been doing a lot of yoga lately, so I love yoga. But tell me a little bit about yoga and meditation and how that kind of works into your purpose with all of us too.
Yeah. So my yoga journey started when I went into a yoga class and went, I hate yoga. I'm never doing that again.
I'm not coming back here.
I'm never doing this again. And it goes hand in hand with what you just said, because I truly believe meet people where they're at.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to. And let their intuition guide it. My intuition said, this yoga is not good for you. And it was like a gym-based, I was doing it because I wanted a 6-pack. I was like, yes, planks, let's do it. And then I hated it, every second of it. The second I stepped into a Kundalini practice, that's when it was a game changer.
I did it in Sedona, Arizona, outside on a waterfall. And I was like, I didn't like yoga before either. And I was like, oh, this is it.
Yes.
But okay, so explain a little bit about I can't pronounce it.
Kundalini.
Kundalini yoga. Talk a little bit about that and the difference
Yeah, absolutely.
that you felt.
Well, a lot of people, their perception of yoga is just strictly asana practice. And what it actually is, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifetime practice. And it's not just these physical poses you put your body into. It's the movement of energy. It is your connection to whatever your higher power is, source, God, angels, universe, whatever term you want to put out there for it. You're connecting with that. A Kundalini practice is taking the energy, which is believed to be coiled at the base of your spine, like a snake, and moving that up through your chakras.
Oh, I like that.
And balancing those energies out. And so for me, I walked into a Kundalini practice and my life was changed within, 90 minutes. I was like, everything's aligned. This is it. And there's a lot of meditation. There's a lot of chanting. And so it's,
So cool.
it's a really cool practice. And so that's what I prefer to practice. What I like to teach is a balance between yoga, asana practice, and shamanism. I weave the two together.
That's really cool.
I like to do it that way.
That's
my
really
thing.
awesome.
Thank you.
And I am, you know me, I love, love, love talking about all this, and I just find it so powerful and exciting. And it's just really, a lot of people say, well, you're like such a clinical therapist, but then you got like this whole like energy and spiritual stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty significant. It's pretty aligned with what we're talking about. We're just using different terms or different vocabulary or concepts. But I'm sure some people sometimes misunderstand sort of what you do, right? And sometimes there's still kind of, I don't want to say judgment, but sometimes there's sort of kind of like this thing like, well, that's really out there. And well, it's not really that much out there, right? It's just same thing you're doing, but different terms, right? Or a different space. So how do you sort of respond to something like that? Or how has that happened to you? And what do you do?
All I can do is speak my truth. That's really what this comes down to, because my truth is my truth. Your truth is your truth. Their truth is their truth. If we're not aligning, that just means that I'm not meant to be on their journey yet. They're meant to work out whatever it is that they are working out in this lifetime. And they're meant to be on their path in the same way I'm meant to be on my path.
So it's no hard feelings. It's more just like, I'm in this space, you're in that space, and that's fine. And if we align again at some point in our lives,
absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
If they find something that works for them and it's not something that I do, or they look at it and they're like, shamanism's kind of weird, yoga's kind of weird, that's fine, because the bottom line is I've got a really strong practice. Self-practice I'm not talking, work practice is separate, but I've got a very strong self-discipline, self-love, self-practice that
and you're true to it.
Absolutely, and it's unshakable because I water it daily.
I love that.
Thank you.
Sometimes when I say to people, they say that to me too, right? It's like, well, how do you like both? And I'm like, I feel like when I went on this journey, it was like, literally like the cliche saying of like a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
But it just felt so authentic and real. And it was like I was bringing myself to these sessions each time. That like, how could I present anything else?
Right.
It's like, how could you? I sometimes make clients laugh when we're talking. They're like, Clay, you're a little bit out there, right? Or like, I love how you're out there, right? You're not the typical therapist. I'm like, thank you in a lot of ways. But it's funny because I'll say when I first opened my practice, I would come in with like a suit, and you know me. Could you imagine me with a suit?
You're so funny.
And high heels, and like my hair would be perfect, and my makeup, and now I'm just like, I'm here, this is me, and I'm real, and I'm not coming in with a suit, and I'm not gonna feel constricted or uncomfortable. I'm gonna be, if I'm asking you to be authentic, I want you to be I want to present that as well.
Right.
So I love that response because it's like, well, maybe we're just not aligning, but that's fine. That's your journey, this is mine, and if we meet again, then great, and if we don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
So tell me, what has been working in the beauty industry taught you about your own feelings on beauty? You're like, do we have 3 episodes for this question? Because it's a big one, right?
It is. It's a really big one.
It's like that mirror. I'm thinking of picking up that mirror and looking at it, right, when you're working in that field all the time.
Yeah. When you're in the beauty industry, your outer beauty is under the microscope.
Yes.
And I like wearing makeup. I love the artistry piece of it. I love creating with that. I don't always wear makeup. Most times I don't, to be honest with you. I mean, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the time I am big on my skincare routine, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to do too much. But again, it goes back to that inner beauty. I've got a very strong practice. But back when I was, working in the city, it was all about what I looked like. It was never about the way I thought. It was never about the way I spoke. And so my own journey was brought about in a way of like overcompensating, because I know I'm smart, I know I'm beautiful, I know I'm intelligent, I know I speak well when it comes to the things that I have to say. But there were so many different people out there who were just like, oh, it's another pretty face doing another pretty face. And that takes a toll on your self-worth, your self-esteem. And so it was in that path I found my own beauty kind of transitioning. But I also had a really profound experience with my grandmother. My grandmother and my aunt both were diagnosed with cancer some years back. And one used to wear a lot of makeup. She loved it. She was so girly. She lived for that stuff. And my grandmother is like using the same lipstick that she purchased from CVS back in like 1980.
Polar opposites?
Polar opposites. Both women lost their hair.
Oh, wow.
And one was like, all right, I'm done with cosmetics altogether. And that was the one who was into it. She was like, I'm done with all this. And my grandmother lost her hair. And she was like, can you teach me how to do a little bit of makeup?
Wow.
Because I feel like I need a little bit now. I never felt like I needed it before. How powerful is that?
Yeah.
Like that right there, those are the people that
resonated
really should be focusing on both the inner beauty and the outer beauty. I mean, it's for everybody. But
that's huge.
That's huge. And I realized in those moments, those really vulnerable moments, I've got something here. No one's really figured any of this out yet. The inner beauty, the outer beauty, how to balance the two, and how to bring that to women.
Yeah.
All women, whether they wear makeup or not.
Yeah.
And
well, it's because I'm thinking now, going back to like the wedding too, like I feel like that's also one of the most vulnerable moments of your life, right? It's almost like, I don't want to say you're giving a part of you away, right? But you're joining with someone else's soul, and that's really beautiful. But in a lot of ways, like you're kind of in this weird, unknown, vulnerable space, and to have somebody sitting in front of you who's doing your makeup and they're like aligning that for you, I'd be like, wow, right? That inner beauty and that outer beauty, and like that's amazing. So that was really your awakening moment. One of them.
One of them. There have been several along the path, but those were two that really
like stood out
for me. And when it comes to like prepping brides and stuff, really talking about that wedding piece, that's where the yoga and meditation teacher comes out to play, because your sympathetic nervous system is just like, I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
How nice would it be if somebody was just like, hey, when you close your eyes and I'm doing your eyeshadow, just do me a favor, inhale.
Yeah. Just breathe.
And exhale. And that will help. Just oxygen. Oxygen is everything. Oxygen will help with your parasympathetic nervous system and help your body calm itself down. Your body is so intelligent. It can heal itself. We know this.
Yes.
And so it's those kinds of things where I can blend and balance the two.
Oh, I love that. That is so amazing. Where were you when I was getting my makeup done for my wedding? I loved it. It looked beautiful, but I was like, oh. And I'm not really, you know me, I'm not an anxious person. I'm not really fazed by anything. And I was like, like, what's going on? When do we have to walk in? What time is it? We're going to be late, whatever else.
Yes.
So I have to ask you my heavy loaded question that I ask just about everybody, because I just think it's a fun question, and I know you're super prepared for this. But if you had to choose one piece of advice for this generation, what would it be? It's a fun question.
One piece of advice for this generation.
One piece of advice.
Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to the planet. Pay attention to the balance between the two. When you treat your body in a really healthy way by consuming healthy leafy green things that don't come in plastic packaging, you know?
Or the 3 slices of pizza.
Right, that too. But really, I mean, it all comes down to, like, if you're growing your own food and then preparing your own food, you're nourishing our planet. You're nourishing the soil that it comes from. And so if we're going to pay attention to anything right now, like, I'm going to get on my soapbox. Plastic consumption's a thing. Stop polluting our oceans. Stop polluting our planet. If you treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated, that behavior is automatically going to help out everything, the collective around you.
It's all connected again.
Shamanism. And
I love that. Well, I want to thank you so much, Shara, for being a part of today's episode. This was so much fun and very, very informative. And I am truly grateful and honored. And thank you to our beautiful audience. We're privileged to have you a part of today's show. And until next time, you know my thing. Until next time.
Until next
Thank you so much. Love, light to all, and namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.